Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to have a design discussion on one of the characters in my upcoming project, Mortimizer's Magnificent Monsters of the Multiverse, coming to Kickstarter October 12th. And today we are going to discuss the man, the myth, the legend, Mortimizer himself. Now, Mortimizer has tons of names, including the Devourer of Dread, the Last Hero of the Rune War, and the Cosmic Curator. Each of these titles come from one of his many legendary exploits. Mortimizer is a legendary and immortal sorcerer that has retired to a pocket dimension. Along with his apprentices and cosmic golems, Mortimizer tends to a magnificent menagerie of monsters. And not content to keep this magnificence all to himself, Mortimizer treks the multiverse and puts these fantastical creatures on display. Using his profound bond with these magnificent monsters, Mortimizer puts on extraordinary exhibits for enthralled audiences. Occasionally, he uses these spectacles as a guise to add another monster to his collection. In these situations, he convinces, one way or another, a party of daring adventurers to attempt to capture one of these magnificent monsters. Whether or not they succeed will be up to you and your players. While designing Mortimizer as a character, I knew I wanted him to be whimsical. My thought was that someone who is immortal and has experienced lifetimes of tragedy would really appreciate the everyday joys in life. And in this light, I decided to make him constantly and whenever possible use alliteration. I thought that this would be fun to roleplay and also just kind of an interesting character trait. And it also is where the title Mortimizer's Magnificent Monsters of the Multiverse comes from. I also knew that I wanted Mortimizer to have an instrument. That way he could add a little bit of joy to everyday moments. Also knew visually that I wanted him to have all kinds of interesting artifacts on him because I felt like this would be a great way to express his storied past. So I wrote all of these things down and made a design brief and sent them over to our friends at Neutron Board Designs, and this is the first round of concept art that they gave us. All right, so here is the first round of concept art from Neutron Board Design. Now, when we're doing the first round, we're really looking to explore different directions while maintaining to the design goals of the concept. So we know that our major design goals for Mortimizer are to have interesting artifacts, to have a musical instrument, to be gentlemanly and dapper, while also being whimsical. So let's break down each one and see what they brought to the final design, if anything. Let's start with A. Now with A, I really like this loot. It has a natural wood feel and it has like this little root here, and this ended up making it into the final design. It's one of my favorite parts of the design. Now overall, this design isn't really what we're looking for because as kind of the face of the series, we kind of want Mortimizer to have an iconic look, and this really overall just kind of reads as a traveling merchant, not an intergalactic wizard. So when we look at B, this is definitely nailing the more gentlemanly look. I really like the pauldron. The cowl is also very cool, and I like the idea of the runes on the forehead, though I don't think the execution in this design is all that great, but I like that core concept. Now, the instruments are a little bland, and the staff is just kind of, everyday wizard, not interdimensional wizard. The artifacts on this one are also lacking, but that's okay because the other designs have plenty of artifacts that we can use. I would say that C is our biggest miss, but honestly in character design, sometimes your misses are the most important designs as they really confirm your positive direction. Now, I really like this design overall. It's just that for Mortimizer, I don't think that this, as a gentlemanly, dapper fellow, really reads well. When I look at this character, I think of like Radagast the Brown. There are some of the artifacts that I really like I like this knife, though I don't think we actually ended up using it. Now let's take a look at D. So D is much more Merlin and sagey than I want to go, but it's nice to know where that line is. Now, some of these artifacts did end up making the final design, including this little skull here and the hourglass, and I believe something similar to this crystal, though it may have been one of the crystals on A. So the flute ended up getting added to the design, as I really like the way this scroll and the guitar on B looked on his back. So we decided to replace those with the flute. So overall, didn't really like this design, but there's a lot of good stuff to take from it and add to the design that we do like, which is B. So we take all of our design critiques and send it over to the Neutron board, and then they give us the next round of concept art and gives us some variations of B. All right, so here we have our 3 variations of the last round's B. As you can tell, they're all fairly similar with just a little bit of tweaks. Mainly, we're changing the pauldron here and doing a little bit of design work on the boots and the clothes. So basically, I think we ended up going mostly with A. We took the pants from C and maybe the boots from B. Also, we got rid of this trunk. I actually think we ended up putting it on his back and not in his arms. Also, as far as the runes and facial hair, we ended up going with the runes from 3 because I really think having them smaller just makes them a little less of a focal point and just kind of like a cool little detail that you'll notice in the design. And I think as far as facial hair, I believe we went with 1 because he has a sweet like handlebar mustache. We send these critiques over to Neutron Board Designs, and they give us the final version of Mortimizer. All right, so this is the final design of Mortimizer. As you see, the loot turned out fantastic. I really love the natural wood look and this little leaf here. The book definitely is one of my favorite parts. Also like this little added knee guard because it kind of ties in the pauldron a little bit more and gives it kind of some contrast here down the lower half of the body. That covers Mortimizer, the Cosmic Curator. I hope you enjoyed the design as much as I did. All the links for our socials will be in the description. Check us out on Facebook or follow us on Kickstarter. You can also join us in the Discord for some beta tests. All right, thank you so much for checking out this video and have a great day.